Hi. Let's look at assessment criteria 4.2. And here we are going to look at the marketing mix. In other words, the 7 Ps. So this area will be critical for your exam. So you need to pay attention and also make sure you study all 7 Ps. You need to know the 7 Ps: product, price, place, promotion, physical evidence, people, and process. And there are some sub-strategies under each P that you need to study. Okay, so here you go. This is the marketing mix. So the 7 Ps, before the 7 Ps was introduced, we had the 4 Ps. That is product, price, place, and promotion. 4 Ps. We call them the 4 Ps of marketing. The 4 Ps of marketing deals with selling a product. Example, what is a product? This is a tangible product that I'm selling. This is a tangible product, right? So product selling. So products. You have products and you have services. What is a service? Now this is a service. Studying right now, you're doing CIM. It's a service. Cutting your hair at a barber salon is a service. So the service 3 Ps are physical evidence, people, and process. Put together, this is the 7 Ps or the marketing mix. So the 4 Ps deals with the products. The extended 3 Ps, physical evidence, people, and process, deals with services when you're selling services. So we will delve into this and investigate each P, right? So there is a description here. There's a description here on each P. You can read through that. So I'll go into each P. Let's start with the product. Let's start with the product. So when we talk about products, we talk about the levels of a product. The levels of a product. So can you see? This is like an onion. We call this the product onion or the levels of a product. Right in the center here is the core product. What do you mean by that? Right? Now, what are you buying right now? You have paid for CIM tuition fees. This is education lecture. You are fundamentally buying right now in buying CIM. When you pay, you are fundamentally buying knowledge. Isn't that right? That is the core product that you are buying right now. Let's say you are going to stay in a hotel. Let's say you go to CIM Grand. What is the core product? What is the fundamental need and the benefit being satisfied? What is the most fundamental need when you go and book a room at CIM Grand to stay? The fundamental core product there is rest, relaxation, tranquility, right? Rest, relaxation, tranquility. If you buy a car, what is the fundamental core need that is being satisfied? The core need that is being satisfied is mobility. Mobility, transportation, going from one place to another. So can you see? Every single product has a core need. If I buy a phone, Apple or whatever, Samsung or whatever, the core need being satisfied here is to speak to someone, right? Is connectivity, ability to speak to someone and connectivity. That is the core need that is being satisfied. Now, marketers take this core need, we call it the core product, and we package it with some features, and we have a basic product, right? So example, you will take a core need, rest. Rest is a core need. And then you will say, okay, let's create different kinds of rest. Let's have a deluxe room for rest. Let's have a superior deluxe room for rest. Let's have a junior suite room for rest. Let's have a suite for rest. Let's have a villa for rest. Let's have a presidential suite for rest. So now what has the marketer done? The marketer has taken this core need of rest and created different kinds of products. We call that the basic product. We call that the basic product. Okay. So you have variety. You have variety, a ladder, so that it covers low income, middle income, and very high end customers. So the core need won't change. Core need is rest, but you can rest in a deluxe room, or you can rest in a suite, or a presidential suite, or a villa, right? I hope it's clear. Then, what is the next level? Expected product. Now, at this level in the product onion, we ask ourselves when we go to buy a product, let's say you go to Cinnamon Grab, let's say you go to buy a room, right, at Cinnamon Grand. Now, it is expected when you check into a hotel that you have a bed in your room, that you have a bathroom inside your room, that you have maybe an iron, maybe a TV. It is expected that you have this. I mean, when you are checking into a room, do you ask them, is there a toilet inside the room, or do I need to come to the lobby? You won't ask that, no. You won't ask that. Is there a bed in the room, or do I need to sleep on the ground? Do you ask that? No, right? It is expected. So when you buy a product, when you buy a car, it is expected to have a battery, tires, seats, manual, free services, few services maybe a car cover. It is expected that you have these. But there can be some things that is not expected that the car company will provide. We call that the augmented product. Product augmentation is where differentiation takes place. So how a company can differentiate themselves from others. So if you check into a hotel room, how can you differentiate? How can Cinnamon Grand differentiate from Hilton? Cinnamon Grand can say, we will give you breakfast free. We will give you entry into these restaurants, and we will give you buy one, get one free. We will give you a free haircut for staying with us. What else? We will give you a free city tour in a tuk-tuk. So this is where product augmentation takes place. Differentiation. Product augmentation means points of differentiation. How are you different? You don't expect that to be a part of the product. So the customer will be like, wow, you're giving me free breakfast, right? If you give Wi-Fi, no, Wi-Fi is expected. Wi-Fi is a must, right? Maybe those days you charge for Wi-Fi. Those days, Wi-Fi was at an augmented level. So after some time, things at an augmented level become expected when everyone give it. Those days, maybe you don't have iron. You don't have coffee in the room when you check into the room, right? Those days you have to buy it or you have to ask for it. Now, it is there. It is expected that I have coffee, Nescafe sachets to drink my morning coffee. Expected, right? But how can you augment your product? That is differentiation. That is differentiation, product augmentation, differentiation. So you have to think creatively. How can an airline augment its product? How can a hotel, how can an education institute augment? What are our points of differentiation? How can a supermarket augment its product? And a potential product means the features and benefits that will be introduced in the future. Potential product. Potential means the future, right? So these are the 5 levels. You also have the 3 levels expanded into 5 levels of a product, or we call this a product onion. The next theory we are going to learn is the product life cycle. Now, every product will go through a life cycle. Every product will go through a life cycle. It will go through the introduction, growth, introduction, growth, introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage, and decline stage. Before that, it goes through a product development stage. Product is not launched. Then you launch the product here. It is introduced, sales will slowly climb. And after some point, you'll see when an iPhone is launched, first few months introduction. September, no, few more days for it to be released, September, right? Then December, sales go through the roof. Why? Because of the holidays, gifts, and New Year gifts and all that. Then come February, March, iPhone sales drop. Maturity stage. And then April, May, June, decline, huge decline. Why? The latest iPhone will come in a few months. So people are not buying. So the product life cycle for Apple's iPhone is 1 year. And this point is the point of rejuvenation. What does that mean? The point of rejuvenation is where at a maturity stage, you give life to a new product. You rejuvenate your product. Rejuvenation means you relaunch it, rebrand it, and you give it a new facelift, and you come up with a new version of it. iPhone 16, iPhone 18, iPhone 20. Before it dies. And it is a good exercise for you to kill your own product before competitors kill it. So Apple kills its older version themselves before Samsung kills it. So this is called the product life cycle. You need to study this. And then we go through a product development process. So when you're developing a product, you go through 8 steps. We call this the new product development process, or the NPD process. First step is you come up with all the ideas for new products. So you can get a committee, you can get cross-functional teams in the organization to come up with as many ideas, brainstorming, right? What are the ideas we have for new products? The second step is for you to screen these ideas, maybe to understand what are the most profitable, what are the most practical, right? And what are the ideas that will match our competencies, the capability of the organization. So based on that, you drop some ideas. And now you have a few good ideas that are screened. The next step is to develop a prototype. Now here you can use technology. Technologies like 3D printing, AutoCAD, if it's a software. Otherwise, you can go into a lab, you can go to a factory, and you can do a concept where you test the concept. You see whether this product is worthy. Is it working? And then you do a detailed feasibility study, a business analysis. Now you have done a prototype. Now you have to see whether it is profitable for you to sell it. A feasibility study, business analysis. And then after that is also successful, you go to the factory and you manufacture the product. After you manufacture the product, you can test it, test market. You can select a few customers and test, give them the product and see whether they would buy it. You can give it for them to use and see whether they like it. And then you commercialize, which means you go into mainstream production. Now you know it works. Now you have a business plan. Now you can commercialize and launch it with a big launch. And after that, at least every 3 months, you need to review the performance of your new product. So we call this the 8-step NPD process. You have to study this. Okay, let's look at the second P. Let's look at price. Now, price is a very important element in the marketing mix, guys. Why? For a few reasons. Price is actually the only P that talks about income, right? Product is a cost. Promotion is a cost. Place is a cost. The other P's are all costs. Price only talks about income. So the P, the second P, also helps position the product in the mind of the customer. So the price usually tells us the quality level of a product. The price usually tells us the quality, the level of a quality of a product. So you convey with price, you communicate a certain positioning in the mind of the customer. Okay, so let's look at factors affecting pricing decisions. When you are deciding on a price, you have to understand the company's objectives. You have to understand the resources, the costs, the demand it has in the marketplace. You can also look at the pricing policies, pricing objectives, stage in the product life cycle. So there are so many factors that you will go through before deciding on price. You won't just say, this is my cost, let me add this amount and determine price. Most of the time you will look at the demand, the level of competition, what are your objectives, and the cost structure before you determine your price. This is an example to show you that how price can be also used to deceive in marketing, right? This is, they say, the Starbucks interesting strategy, pricing strategy used by Starbucks. So you can see when you go to Starbucks, right, you can see the price of a small cup of coffee for $5, medium $5.50, and large $5.99. So the strategy here will make the large Starbucks look very, very attractive, because for $1 more, look at the size of extra coffee you're getting. So it is a very interesting strategy to get you to buy the highest priced and the largest cup of coffee, right? So can you see how price can be deceiving? You can use price to position. You can use price effectively to upsell, to cross-sell, to suggestive sell. And like this, you can show what an attractive product is. And when we talk about pricing, we talk about two main pricing strategies. The two main pricing strategies are market penetration pricing and market skimming pricing strategy. So the market penetration pricing strategy, usually when you launch a new product, right? Usually when you launch a new product to the market, let's say Apple launches its phone, what do? Do they offer a low price? That's market penetration, and expect a lot of sales from the time they launch it? Or do they skim the market? Involves setting a high price, very high priced positioning, attracting only few customers during the first month. So Apple uses the market skimming strategy. They skim. Skim means you take the top layer only. So few customers. You have huge margins on your price. And you know that people stay outside the Apple store to buy a new Apple product. Sometimes they stay overnight. They count down. As soon as the store opens, they run inside to buy the Apple product. And they pay a very high price when it's launched. That is called market skimming. Market skimming. Market penetration is maybe what Cargill's might use. Maybe what Pereira and Sons might use. They offer a low price and they generate a high volume of business. That is called market penetration pricing, where you penetrate into the market. So the two pricing strategies are market skimming and market penetration. And then we talk about pricing tactics and methods. So product line pricing. Now, this is product line pricing, where you show from the smallest, the medium, large. That is product line pricing, right? So you show prices stepped up according to the difference of either the cost to produce or the quantity or the features and benefits, so that you show that this is where you start and then you move yourself up. Even if you go to buy a car, you can see the most basic model, then the same model, you'll see the full option, then you'll see the next model, then you'll see the SUV, then you'll see the full option SUV, then you'll see the super luxury. So you will see the entire range. Then you will know where you can afford to fit. And then you also know what is your next upgrade. So that is called product line pricing. Product line pricing. Optional product pricing. This is a tactic that involves selling a basic product with a range of extra options. So car sale is ideal. Or sometimes when you go to buy a house, also it is the same. So car, when you go to buy a car, they will show you the basic version of the car. Then they will say, if you want extra alloy wheels, different type of alloy wheels, that will cost you so much. If you want the step footrest to recline, that will cost you so much. If you want a special speaker system installed, that will cost you so much. So they sell the basic car and then they add things on. That's called optional product pricing. Product bundle pricing, you can see this happening a lot in supermarkets, guys. Products are bundled together and sold cheaper than when sold separately. So if you buy a toothpaste, toothbrush, you will get a special price. Maybe if you buy, you can also bundle, right? Confectionaries. A Kit Kat chocolate can be bundled with some other thing, a Nestle Polo, right? Because they are from Nestle. So if you bundle it, you get a better price than buying it individually. That is called product bundling. Then cost plus pricing strategy. Cost plus pricing is a method that involves calculating the total cost of the product. So you calculate the total cost of the product in manufacturing the product. Let's say you spend 100 rupees manufacturing a product. right? Then you add a fixed percentage, say 100%. I want 100% margin. So you add another 100 then to your cost of 100 and you sell it at 200. So you add a fixed percentage of profit to the cost to arrive at the price. That is called cost plus pricing. Demand-based pricing is completely different. Demand-based pricing is you understand the demand in the market and then you price a product knowing that you have a lot of potential. So it can be even 500% markup or margin. Competitor parity method, competitor parity. What does this word competitor parity means? To match competitor. So competitor parity means sometimes if your competitors are selling at a lower price, you then might match them. You will not keep a very big margin because otherwise your pricing will be undercut by your competitors. So to match competitors. And psychological pricing finally is like the example given there, $399.95. So it's not 400, $19.99. So it is not 20. That's called psychological pricing. Psychological pricing, right? Then we look at the concept of price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand, right? So this is the demand curve. I'll explain this to you. Let's say you sell a product at 10 pounds and you sell 100 quantity. You sell 100 quantity, right? But if you increase price by 2 pounds from 10 to 12, can you see there's a huge quantity drop? You only increased 2 pounds, but your quantity has dropped by more than 50%, right? It has gone from 100 to 40. So your demand has significantly responded to a small change in price increase. That is called price elastic or price elasticity. A small change in price has had a big change in quantity. Can happen the other way also. If you reduce price by from 10 to 8, maybe you'll have 200, right? So what is this? Price elasticity. Price is very elastic, right? Price elasticity demand curve. Price inelastic demand curve is a small change in price increase has not had a major impact in quantity. A small change in price increase has not had a major change in quantity. That's called price inelastic demand curve. Price inelastic demand curve. I hope it's clear, right? So you need to study what is price elastic and price inelasticity and price elasticity. Okay. Let's then come to place. Let's now come to place. Okay, let's look at the third P, place. Now, what do you mean by place? Place means distribution. That's what it means. Distribution. You need to remember that. Distribution. So place means distribution. So you can distribute your product via agents, wholesalers, retailers, distributors. There is a definition here for each. You don't need to study these, but know that there are different types of and forms of distribution. retailers, wholesalers, agents, right, are the different types of distributors. So you don't need to study the nuances of this, but understand that there are many types. Agents, distributors, wholesalers, retailers, then the direct to consumer. So what happens is the company can go through, the company can go to the customer by agents, wholesalers, distributors, and then distributors sell it to retailers and retailers sell it to customers. Now, as you go from channel to channel, you have to give them a percentage. So your product cost increases by the time it goes to the customer. And that is why there is also something called the direct marketing route, where you can invite customers to your website and sell to them direct. And usually when you do that, you will sell at a very, very reduced price, because all these margins that you're keeping here, from agents to wholesalers to distributors to retailers, you can give that benefit to the customer when he comes to your website and orders, let's say, a pair of Nike shoes, and then you can ship it to him directly, right? So you can see the direct route, we call it direct marketing, right? And there are so many things that you would need to consider when selecting the correct type of channel, the correct place or the correct distribution channel. You'll have to look at the product characteristics. If it's a perishable product, then you need refrigeration, transportation, packaging. You have to look at competitor activity. How are your competitors distributing their product? Sometimes, let's say if you're Nike, you can only have your stores. But then if your competitors are using wholesalers, dealers, distributors, agents, then if you don't use it, you are going to lose a lot of market share, right? Of course, the cost of distribution must be considered. Sometimes shipping costs are really high. Air freight costs are really high. Getting a product from one corner in the world to the other is very, very costly. It's much more costly sometimes than the manufactured cost of the product. Then the reliability of the channel is important. Security. The level of service required from the type of distributor. Sometimes distributors make a mockery out of the service that they give to your product. And there are legal issues. Sometimes if your distributor is not providing the correct service, then the company can be sued, right? So you need to consider all these factors when placing channel decisions. Then let's come to the next P, promotion. Promotion. Now under promotion, product, price, place, promotion. Promotion means you promote your product. And there is something called the promotional mix. The 5 elements of the promotional mix. Another word for this is the communications mix. Please study this. The communications mix or the promotional mix. The promotional mix or the communication mix, you need to study this, has 5 tools. Advertising, sales promotion, public relations, direct marketing. We spoke of direct marketing, where you go direct to the customer, and personal selling. So you need to study this. You can get a lot of questions here. The promotional mix or the communications mix. Advertising, sales, promotions, public relations, direct marketing, and personal selling. So let's look at each of these areas. Advertising, you know what advertising means. TV, radio, press, right? Advertising, as per definition, involves using mass channels, mass market. Mass means now TV is a mass market channel. Now, if I advertise on a TV channel, I can't advertise on a TV channel. I can't advertise CIM on a TV channel and say, only my CIM class and marketers only watch this. I can't do that. It goes to everyone. That's why it's called a mass market channel, mass market medium, mass market advertising medium. But there are, if I advertise, let's say in a marketing industry magazine, then that will only go to marketers. Then it is not mass media. So advertising is using mass, non-personal, paid form of media. You need to pay for it. In fact, there are non-paid forms as well, like public relations, which we will go into as a tool. So this is a paid form. It's very expensive. It's a mass audience. It's non-personal because you are reaching a large audience. You are not going one-to-one, non-personal. And the objective of advertising is to create awareness, encourage product trial and purchase, right? So when we talk about advertising, the objective of advertising, you need to study this, is to drip. What do you mean drip? Is to differentiate your product. That's why you advertise. Is to remind your customers that you are there as an option in the market. Is to inform or educate customers what are the differences of your product versus competing products, and to persuade them to buy. So the objective of advertising is to drip. It is to differentiate, remind, inform, and persuade. Differentiate, remind, inform, and persuade. And when we talk about advertising, we talk about three types. We talk about three types of media, right? You have above the line media, above the line promotion or above the line advertising, we call it ATL. Below the line promotion, we call it BTL. So you have ATL, BTL, and you have through the line promotion, we call it TTL. Above the line, below the line, and through the line. Forms of advertising. What do you mean by above the line? Above the line, ATL advertising media includes TV, radio, press, cinema, outdoor. Above the line. Below the line means more to do with sales promotions, events, brochures, leaflet distribution, exhibitions. All these are BTL, below the line forms of promotion. Through the line forms of promotion is digital strategies, social media and digital. So above the line is the mainstream TV, radio, press, cinema, outdoor. Below the line is brochures, events, trade shows, sales promotions. Through the line is digital channels, social media and digital channels. So ATL, BTL, and TTL. So that was the first type of tool in the communications mix or promotions mix. Now let's look at public relations. PR. I think you have heard this word before. PR, right? Public relations is the planned and sustained effort to establish and maintain goodwill. Now, that is the key word. PR is done to maintain goodwill between the organization and your target audience. So the whole purpose behind PR is to build goodwill. Another word for goodwill is reputation. Reputation. So if you feel that you have to enhance your reputation, you're not so much bothered about sales, right? Sales will come, but you want to build your corporate image, your reputation, your identity, your goodwill, your credibility. Then you have to use this tool. You can't use advertising. You have to use public relations. public relations, right? So what do you mean by public relations? Public relations is done not to drip. What is drip? Differentiate, remind, inform, persuade. That is advertising. But public relations objectives are to attract publicity, positive word of mouth, talk value, positive word of mouth promotion. That means people speaking very good about the company, very good about the products, right? You know, positive word of mouth promotion is stronger than advertising because people recommend it and it spreads like forest fire. It spreads like forest fire. Happy customers bringing other customers is much better than a TV ad that you see on prime time. Happy customers, publicity, word of mouth promotion, right? Develop positive relationships, minimize negative effects, promote positive image, reinforce your advertising, and build a positive reputation. So you can see the benefits of public relations or the objectives of public relations are different from advertising. So Richard Branson is one person that gets a lot of free media publicity. So this was when Virgin Atlantic launched in Scotland. Can you see? Can you see Richard Branson, who's the owner of the Virgin Empire? He wore this Scottish dress. You know, in Scotland, they wear a small dress like this, the males. So he wore that Scottish dress. And he came in front of the media and he said, we are now launching Virgin Atlantic. And then he did this. This was real. He did this. Why did he do this? Because all the media then took pictures of this and put it on their main page. So he got free publicity. He got free publicity. If he paid for that publicity, it would have cost him a lot of money. But can you see, he got free publicity, right? So publicity enhances your image and it is free because the newspapers will write about it. They will report about it because they also need to carry news. So public relation tools are corporate material. Some companies have clips. Some companies have annual reports, brochures, newsletters, annual conferences, stationery, uniforms, caps, t-shirts. All this is to do with corporate material. Then you have internal communications. Things like your memos, your reports, your emails, your billboards. Press releases. You can release a media release. Invite the press, give them to eat and drink, and launch a new product. They will go and write about the new product. Special networking events, conferences, seminars, exhibitions. All these things are forms of PR tools. Corporate campaigns are also part of public relations, and then community programs and lobbying, right? Sometimes you can do factory visits, counseling programs. All these things are done to make sure that you enhance your reputation. So this is the example of public relations tools. Let's now go into sales promotion. So I think many of you are exposed to sales promotions. You know what sales promotions are, what Singer and Abans does throughout the year. Discounting, maybe a gift with purchase, maybe product bundling, maybe installment plans. So sales promotion is to provide an incentive to buy, right? So usually it is done, it is called a seasonal sale, summer sale, Black Friday sale, right? It is to increase short-term sales volume, to encourage product trial, repeat business, and it is an offer for a stated period of time. That is what a sales promotion is. And obviously, if you do sales promotion too often, then people won't come and buy because they know there is no offer. This is offered all the time. So you need to be careful when handling a sales promotion. What are the objectives of sales promotions? It is to increase sales in the short term, to give an incentive to customers to come and buy, maybe sometimes to reward customers, feel good factor, to build a database, you can do it even online, and to smoothen seasonal sales dips. Sometimes you get dull months like February, like month of April, May, dull months. Then you can run a sales promotion to smoothen the seasonal sales dips. Then you have two types of sales promotion strategies: push strategy and pull strategy, right? So the push strategy is this. Can you see? Push. Pull strategy is this. You pull. Here you push. So what do you mean by this? Let me try and explain it to you. So when you pull, the pull strategy in sales promotion, a company, an organization will advertise your product, your sales promotion, let's say on TV, radio, press. They will advertise it to customers. Then the customer will see the ad and go and ask retailers. Retailers will ask wholesalers. Wholesaler will contact the manufacturer. So the more you advertise, you are pulling the customer through your channels, through your distributors to come and create demand for the product. That's called a pull strategy. Push strategy is the opposite. You offer your distributor a discount to buy more. Then your wholesalers offer your retailers another discount to buy more. So they stock a lot of products. Why? Because they have got a better price. And retailers in return give another discount and push it to consumers. So you push this way, you push through the channel, you pull through the consumer. You push through the channel and you pull through the consumer. You pull through the consumer. Push strategies and pull strategies in sales promotion. So here are some examples. Push strategies involves the distributor. So you can have contests for distributors. You can have price offs for distributors. Buy more bonus packs and get extra. So you can do push strategies. Pull is you pull the customer. Push is you push the distributor. So you can have trade discounts, trade contests, best deal awards, training programs, right? You can give them an air ticket for the best dealer. You can give them point of sale merchandising support. You can do special trading terms. Usually we give you 6 months credit, but we will give you 120 months credit. Buy more. Deferred invoicing. Right? So vendor support programs. So you push through the distributor and you pull through the consumer. These are the push-pull strategies in sales promotion. Then let's come into personal selling. Personal selling is one-to-one selling, mainly used in the real estate market. It is also used in selling insurance. Banks use personal selling, especially to sell complex products. Personal selling, therefore, is the direct, face-to-face, personal confrontation, personal presentation. You have to be physically there, personal, right? Personal presentation of goods by a sales representative. That is called personal selling. So advertising is different from personal selling. Personal selling is costly because you need a trained salesperson, transport costs are there, and you need very good salespeople to do insurance selling, complex sales like selling apartments, real estate, personal selling or selling a car. You can't sell it online, right? You need personal selling. So personal selling comes into play when you're selling complex products, B2B products, financial products, housing loans, insurance, health schemes. Personalize the message. You can tailor make your communication. You can build customer relationships because you are in front of the customer and persuade customers with your non-verbal communication, your gestures, your posture, the way you talk, your tone. You can use all that to convince the customer in personal selling. And then we go into direct marketing. I think I spoke of direct marketing early on. Direct marketing is when you avoid all the intermediaries and go direct to the customer. So it is technology enabled. Usually you'll involve an app or a website to go direct to customers. You bypass intermediaries and you can customize your product and you ship it to the customer, right? So direct marketing, there are many advantages of direct marketing, and the techniques are you can use a catalog to sell. You can use direct response advertising. I don't know, you've seen that quantum marketing, telecine marketing, those ads that go in the afternoon selling gym equipment and all that to housewives, right? Those are all called direct response advertising. SMS, direct mail, email, social media lead generation, using the website. All these are forms or apps, right? Apps are also very popular now for direct marketing. So direct marketing is used to personalize, directly communicate with customers. You encourage an immediate response, technology enabled, and you can measure the response. You can measure the response, right? And now we look at the entire communication mix, the entire promotional mix when it comes to B2B and B2C markets. So when it comes to business, you can see personal selling, exhibitions, direct mail, LinkedIn, websites. These are the channels you can use in B2B sales, complex sales. But if you are selling a consumer product, B2C, you can then use mass media advertising, sales promotion. Again, you can use social media, WhatsApp selling. All these types of selling can be used. So your channels will change, your communication mix, your promotional mix will change based on whether you are selling a B2B product or a B2C product. And then we go into the three extended P's: physical evidence, people, and process. So let's start with physical evidence. Now, physical evidence means an important P. This is the office environment, the decor, the layout. Some offices have a lot of noise, some have nice music, pipe music. The appearance, the fragrance, ease of access, parking. Basically, the physical evidence is the ambience. One good place that has very good physical evidence right now is the Shangri-La Mall. No? We like going and hanging out there. Those days when we were small, we used to go and hang out at Majestic City because that had the best physical evidence. Now Majestic City looks like a real dump. Now you have the best of malls, Shangri-La Mall, right? Physical evidence. It smells nice. You have a nice environment, music, layout, deco. That is physical evidence. Customers like good physical evidence. Then people. People means the people who deliver the product, the sales staff. They have to have positive attitude, highly skilled. People are part of the product in services. Remember, if you are selling a haircut, it's a service. It's an intangible service. And the person cutting your hair is part of that service or not? Definitely. That person forms the product or the service. So you can't separate the person from the service. So you have to train your staff to have positive attitudes, be motivated, and have a high level of service, high level of skill and competency in delivering customer value. The process is the process the customer goes through. Sometimes when you go to apply for a credit card or a loan from a bank, some people will do it in 24 hours. Some people will take 3 months and they will not contact you. That is the process. How user-friendly is the customer journey? How good is the customer experience? Is it robust? Is it effective? Is it friendly? So the process is also important. Sometimes you might have the best product, but the process is terrible. Sometimes you might have the best product and a good price, but the physical evidence is bad and people are bad. So that leads us into another discussion. How do you integrate the marketing mix? How do you make sure your product matches your price, your place, your promotion? That is called an integrated marketing mix. Having the best product in the world means nothing if it's not priced properly, the location is bad, if the people are bad, if the physical evidence is bad, if the process is bad, and if the promotion is bad. So all 7 P's must have a knock-on effect and be integrated. That's called integrated marketing, the integration of the marketing mix, so that it conveys one coherent, unified, synergistic message across all the 7 P's, so that the customer, when you're paying that price, you know, wow, I'm getting this service, I'm getting this quality, I'm getting good people, I'm getting a good process, I'm getting, you know, good material in terms of promotion, right? So that is integrated, the integrated marketing mix. And when we talk about communication, we also talk about digital marketing. I think you have covered this, the 3 types of digital media. You have paid media, owned media, and earned media. I think you have covered this in social media already. The owned media are the properties. Every company will have a website, a mobile app, maybe a blog, social media channels, YouTube page, LinkedIn page, all that. Those are called owned media. You need to have them because customers will find you there. Then earned media is when you post things, people share them, people comment, repost it on Twitter. So this will have organic reach. This organic reach is called earned media because you earned it free. You earned it free, you not paid anything, and people have shared it. And this sometimes will generate what we call search engine optimization on Google. Google has an algorithm where they, based on your how many people search the keywords, your website gets optimized. Your social media channels get optimized. So it's earned media, free of charge. Paid media is when you advertise. So you can advertise on Google pay-per-click. You can do influencer marketing. You can do SEM, right? SEM, social media advertising. You can pay for it, and you can do display ads, you can do carousels, you can do retargeting ads, social media ads, lead generation, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads. So those are paid forms of advertising on digital marketing. And then we talk about, finally, in conclusion, we talk about the 7 Ps through a sustainability lens, through a responsibility lens. So if you are handling a not-for-profit organization, if you are, let's say you are part of a NGO, not-for-profit organization, non-governmental organization, right? And if you are also maybe place like the Red Cross or Wildlife Protection or Family Planning Association, or if you are in the marketing department of a government university or maybe the museum, you then will see the marketing mix slightly different from a responsible societal environmental marketing context. That is the example given here. Okay. So that is the marketing mix for you guys. That is the marketing mix for you guys. Please study this and ensure you know all the areas before the exam. Thank you.